Okay, welcome one and all. Brian Keene, Board of Directors for the Scares That Care 501c3 charity, here with you. And with me, we have Big Daddy Joe Ripple, founder of Scares That Care. And we have Jake Lerner, our floor manager extraordinaire.
Welcome one and all. Welcome.
What showmen you two are. What exuberance you have there.
Look, I'm old. Folks, if you're just joining us, please make sure you, and this is for the people on the Facebook Live only, make sure you click that link to go to the YouTube channel. That way you can see all three of us. You can post your questions up there. If you can't get on YouTube, I'm doing it this way also to make sure that you can post your question and that we can then accommodate you this way as well.
Because that's how old Joe is. He doesn't know how to do the YouTubes.
Look, I'm ready to send homing pigeons with messages tied around their legs. Hey, Dawn, how are you? Folks, if you just joined on the Facebook Live, click the link to the YouTube channel, go over to the YouTube, and if you can't get YouTube, you can ask your questions here. So,
see, when they, I want to point out, there's a lot of concern, not only in our industry, but in all industries, about AI, artificial intelligence, and its capacity to take jobs. Jake, I would like to point out to you, what Joe has done here so far could be handled by an AI. We could do an artificially intelligent, perhaps more intelligent, Joe Ripple that would just repeat. If you're watching this on Facebook, go over to YouTube.
Make it a llama head that just greets everybody.
When this call is over, I'd like to see you both in my office.
All right. So yes, this is an open Q&A for folks who are interested in being vendors at AuthorCon III. That's going to take place April 12th through the 14th next year at a hotel in Williamsburg, Virginia. Vendor tables will go on sale this month, Saturday, May 20th. That's coming up here very soon at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. They will be $250 each. For more information, of course, you go to scaresthatcare.org. Before we get started, I want to make sure folks understand. We're happy to answer any questions you may have about the charity or about this particular event. But tonight we are focusing on vendors. If your question is, I'd like to come from California, are you going to have Neil Gaiman as a guest? That's not really a question for tonight. If your question is, I'd like to fly from California, when can I load in? That's a question we can handle tonight. I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
To piggyback on what Brian said, please understand, folks, I am not in the author community. So basically, those kinds of questions, we have a three-tiered level, a three-tiered setup here. Brian Keene basically hosts the event. He's in charge of the authors, the programming, the scheduling, things like that. I'm responsible for the logistics about taking care of the hotel, getting the guests there, anything having to do on that end and answering any questions about the charitable aspects. Jake is the guy. He's the guy. Hey, listen, I am in this anthology with Candace Nola. Can I have my table next to hers? That is and speaking of Candace Nola, there she is. Those are the kinds of questions. So if you can kind of direct your questions in that fashion, it would be really great. Just say, hey, Jake, or hey, Joe, or hey, Brian. That way, and just, being the founder of the charity doesn't mean and everybody's heard this 1,000 times if you're a member of this organization. I don't know everything. So I rely on people who do, and that's where Brian Keene comes in, and that's where Jake comes in. Right. So we're happy to answer any questions like Brian said, but if we can just relegate this to just the show, we would really, really appreciate it.
Yep. And if you have a question, there's two ways you can ask. You can type it in the comments there on Facebook, or here on YouTube, or if you are one of the folks who who were not able to watch this on YouTube, first of all, Jake and I would like to apologize to you because you can only see Joe and not us. But secondly, you can type your question there and Joe will then relay it to us.
Yeah.
Lynn Hanson checking in. Hello, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
I would like to point out to folks, if you have watched for the last 2 years, if you've watched social media and you've seen the excitement surrounding the previous 2 AuthorCons, and you've seen anecdotal sales evidence and comments that people did very well, and you're on the fence about getting in, this is the year to get off the fence. 2024, it's going to be big. You can quote me on that. It's going to be our biggest show yet. This is the year to get off the fence and actually get in the room. An important change from our previous 2 years. The last 2 years we kept tables discounted because we were a new show. It was a new kind of event. We kept the tables discounted to make it easy for everybody. This year we've increased the price of the tables, but you're allowed to now share that table with another person if you want to. So let's say, I don't know, let's go randomly. Let's say Lynn Hanson wants to show up, sell her art, but she can't afford the $250 for that table by herself. She can say, hey, Candace Nola, you want to split a table with me? And Candace can say, sure thing. And there you go. And Jake and I will accommodate you in that regard. Any other changes that I'm missing, guys, that you can think of? I'm on cold medicine right now. So.
No, nothing really. Just a reminder to folks, if you join the Facebook Live, make sure you go to the AuthorCon group and click the link to the YouTube channel so that you can see all 3 of us. The only thing that I just want to stress, Brian, is we really tried to, because these are authors and many of them, this is their full-time job, and we understand that. If people remember last year, we tried to put authors in the first and second floor of the conference center. We had about, what was it, Jake? 70 some authors over there.
Yes.
So, and it didn't work. It didn't work. And if anything is about me, is I'm really good at reading the room. So Saturday morning, we pulled everybody down, and it's just, so splitting the table, you're really not paying more. A lot of authors that I've seen really don't need a full table. But I just would like to reiterate that it's still going to be the same amount of money that you spent last year.
Yeah.
The room cost is going to be the same. So it's really imperative upon you as to whether or not you want to share a table with somebody. Now, to that point, there was a question that was asked earlier, so I'd like to put this out right now. We will not pick who you want to share a table with. That is your decision. We're not going to partner people up because we don't want anybody put in an uncomfortable situation where they didn't want to share a table with somebody or something like that. So this is your call. This is your choice as to who you want to be by.
And it's important to reiterate, you are not required to share a table. We're not making you share a table. If you want to buy a table for yourself, that's great. What we're saying is, we understand the economic situation right now, particularly for writers. And if you look at the data, we're in a bumpy ride here with the global economy. What we're saying is next year, if it makes the process easier and more affordable for you, you can split a table. You can find somebody and say, hey, you want to split a table, and then you sign up and you can split a table, and Jake and I will take care of you. But you are not required to do that.
Now, I do want to also piggyback on that, if I can, Brian, and just let people know that if you buy your table, and let's say I buy my table when they go on sale, right? And then, I don't know, 3 months down the line, I write an anthology with Brian Keene. Well, Brian Keene doesn't have a table. Brian Keene can then come and be your table partner. That's perfectly fine. The people can be added after the fact. So we're just trying to do what's best for you. And we're also trying to do what's best for the charity, because believe it or not, there are logistical costs that are associated with putting on a show. I mean, it is what it is. So we have to do what's best and try to keep it accessible to all. So,
And to add on to what you both have already said, because I know it will become a question, each table, no matter how many people purchase, one or two, each table comes with 2 vendor badges. That's it.
that's it.
That's it.
I
That's
just
it.
want to
More.
make sure everybody's aware of that too.
Yep. You both mentioned logistical costs. One thing we want to make sure everyone's aware of this year, for the 2024 show, we have a strict cancellation policy. Now, we'll talk about the logistics of why we've enacted that cancellation policy. But what you need to know up front is we're not trying to be bad guys, not trying to be dicks. But we have logistics. You have to keep in mind, we are a nonprofit. If we were a convention for profit, it would be a different story. But at the end of the day, every year, we have 3 beneficiaries that are counting on us: a burn victim, a sick child, and one with breast cancer. And that is who, at the end of the day, and we are always going to take steps to benefit them. So with that in mind, Joe, do you want to talk about the cancellation policy for this year?
Yeah. So first of all, if you're watching on the Facebook Live, make sure you go to the link that Jake posted, but the YouTube video, so you can click on that and you can join us on YouTube. I'm still monitoring this in case anybody can't get on YouTube and might have any questions. So, again, folks, we're between a rock and a hard place on this. We really want to take care of people, both the authors and the families that we help. But we ran into quite a few situations last year where people were, for lack of a better term, I double booked, so I can't make it. I need a refund. That's not going to happen this year, folks. We understand that life happens. And like Brian said, we're not trying to be hard asses about this. So here's the cancellation policy in a nutshell. Once you purchase your vendor table, which they go on sale in 7 days, next Saturday, 6 p.m., tables go live. Okay. When you book your table, you have 90 days. That's 3 months, 90 days to cancel. Okay. You'll get a full refund. All right. Day 91, if you say you can't make it, I'm sorry, there's no refunds. Okay. We are a charity and we are trying to put on a show that helps authors. Again, not trying to be a hard case about this, but we had far too many situations last year. So we had to institute this policy. No matter what, all purchases, or let me just say this, December 31st, 2023, there will be no refunds after that date. Period. End of sentence. Again, not trying to be hard, folks, but we are a charity. And look, it's not fair for somebody who wants a table and can't get in. And then, all of a sudden somebody says, I want a refund. I can't make it. So please check your schedules. Make sure you're not double booked. Make sure that you can actually attend the event. And like I said, we understand that life happens. All of us understand that life happens, but we are trying to accomplish a mission here. We hope you understand. And again, if this causes you any consternation, feel free to reach out to me. We can chat about it privately. But again, it's just something that from a business aspect, we really have to, I don't want to say that people are taking advantage of our kindness, but it's starting to become a lot more noticeable. And we just have to do what we need to do.
Exactly.
So
now, something else that we'll add, Joe, you had mentioned earlier about last year we tried putting vendors up on the second floor and down the first floor, and it didn't work out. If you were there at the show, then you saw Saturday morning we were moving people to the more highly trafficked areas. This year, next Saturday, when tickets go on sale, what you are buying is a table in that main vendor room.
Yes.
The main room, the big room. You're not buying first floor. You're not buying second floor. Every single one of you are going to be buying a table in that main room. I see Dee here in the chat, so I want to point out she, of course, HWA Virginia member, the Virginia chapter. Next year for 2024, we're going to be partnering with the HWA, the Horror Writers Association. They are going to have that space on the first floor to do some things with. Now, we can't tell you much more about it at this point, but yeah, I'm sorry, Joe, go ahead.
So Lynn just posted a question.
Okay.
And Lynn says, will you allow people to transfer their tables to other people if they have to cancel? So Lynn, again, from a logistics standpoint, each of the last 2 years, we've had a bit of a nightmare. And that nightmare comes in the fact of, oh, we're looking for somebody who's checking in. And somebody said, oh, well, Jake bought the table and Jake says he can't make it. So he just gave me his table.
No.
So that has to be done logistically. We have to be informed. Will we allow that table to be transferred to another person? Yes, but we will not be issuing a refund. Okay. That person can pay you the money, and then you and the person have to both send us an email that basically say, hey, Joe, this is Lynn. I can't make it. I'm giving my table to Jake Lerner. And Jake follows up with, I'm aware of this. And then that way it's not out of malice. People don't do this stuff out of malice. And I'm a firm believer in that. But they just think that. Go ahead, Brian.
Let me give folks an example. This is a real example, no exaggeration. And I will not name names because I'm not out to shame anybody. But our first AuthorCon, we had someone who purchased 5 tables. 5 tables. And about 4 days before 3 or 4 days before the show, they informed us they weren't going up. Now, first of all, that was 5 tables that come on to 5 new vendors who really wanted to get in there. Secondly, the people connected with these 5 tables had already been intricately put into programming, okay, which was already set. Thirdly, they wanted a refund a couple days before the show. And fourthly, they didn't tell everybody they were sharing these tables with, so those people still showed up and no record of them being involved with these people. It was a logistical nightmare. It's not fair to Pam and Joe and the other folks who run the ticket booth. It's not fair to Jake. It's not fair to myself. It's not fair to our beneficiaries, and we're not going to do that. That's simple.
A good example of the transfer and what we're looking for. If you book a room at the hotel and you decide you're not going to come and you want to transfer that room to somebody who's going to take it from you, not only do you talk to each other, but you call the hotel, each of you, to transfer ownership of that room to the other person. Yeah. That's what we would like to see happen for logistics, so we know who's coming, who's not coming, that type of situation.
Exactly. So again, if you're just, I'm sorry, Joe, I just wanted to throw in, because I see the viewer not fluctuating in and out. If you're just joining us on YouTube and you have a question specifically about vending or vendor spaces for next year's AuthorCon, feel free to type it there in the chat. If you are watching Joe on Facebook, you can type it in there and he will relay it to us. Yeah.
And folks on the Facebook Live, if you just joined, please make sure you click the link that Jake has posted to the YouTube channel. So it's a much better system to record and post the video up when we're done. So
we have a very important question from one of our authors. Will there be tacos?
There it is.
I'm in the process of speaking with the hotel to see if they can do a taco buffet on Saturday for lunch.
There you go. There you go. And if not, and of course, ideally we want folks to eat there at the hotel and spend money there at the hotel. But if you happen to walk off site and you go out the back where the swimming pool is and the arcade, you go out the back and you head straight, you'll find a wonderful Thai place and a wonderful Italian place. But next to it, brand new this year, was a wonderful Mexican place, fantastic tacos. Just throw that out there.
And again, if you joined us on the Facebook Live, make sure you click the link to the YouTube so you can come over and see all the crap I'm getting over here.
What kind of are you getting?
Mexican food, tacos. You know exactly what you're doing. Don't.
I don't. I know llama is a thing, but
you forget my day job.
I didn't think you wanted the public to know you work as Taco Bell manager.
Oh, you dirty bastard.
I didn't think that was public knowledge. Sorry. You just kind of outed yourself there, Joe.
If you're on the Facebook Live, make sure you click on the YouTube link so you can see all the crap I'm catching over here. All right.
So anyone else got any questions? Go ahead and type them in.
Yeah. Now's the time for your questions, folks.
Jake, can you think of anything you want potential vendors to know?
LoadIns Thursday and Friday. Should we stick with the same as last year?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
So Thursday load in 12 to 6, Friday 10 to open.
No, I do not, Dawn.
And like we did this year, vendors, if you buy a table, when you buy it, Joe, that's something we should talk about. We should talk about the little form they're going to have to fill out when they purchase their table.
Yeah, I posted up the pictures already in the Facebook group of the form. And what it's really going to do, folks, is going to help Brian with scheduling, specifically when it comes to panels or readings. Now, if you don't want to do a panel or a reading, you are not obligated. Okay? You are not obligated if you don't feel comfortable speaking on a panel. If you don't feel comfortable standing up and reading your work, you certainly do not have to do that. It's not mandatory. Okay? But if you do want to be included on a panel or a reading, please check the appropriate boxes. There's also appropriate boxes if you're sharing a table. If that person wants to do a reading, there's also a box that just says, we don't want to do a reading. Okay. So please make sure you fill that out. Also, the biggest problem, one of the main problems that we have is I signed up, but my pen name is Brian Keene, but my real name is Jake Lerner. So on the form, it will actually say, what is your legal name that's on your driver's license? What is the pen name that you go by, or your publishing company name? Okay. We're trying to capture all of this information ahead of time. That way it's going to make it a lot easier for Jake. It's going to make it a lot easier for Brian for programming. So just make sure you familiarize yourself with those pictures, because when the table goes live, when the tables go live, you're going to have to fill those out and make sure you check those appropriate boxes.
Yep.
Also, you need to check the box so you understand what the refund policy is.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, we got a question from D. Oh, wait, no, that's from Candace. Let's go to D first. Jake, will move-in be the same as they've always been?
Yes. Everything will be the same. Because she missed this year's show, the only difference she will see is after you check in at registration, you will then go to our vendor who makes badges on site, and they will print expelled everything exactly as you wish, your name badge. That was a great success. As far as I know, everybody was super happy with the vendor badges and being able to have exactly. I still have mine. So they will print them out on site. Everything else is the exact same. You come to registration, check in with us, go over to the vendor, get your badges, and we will show you where your table is. You have 6 hours on Thursday and about 7 hours on Friday for load in and set up.
Yep.
And the remainder of the time can be spent in the bar.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Badges were great this year. I agree. The badges were awesome this year. All right, Candace. For a reading, can I bring someone to read for me because issues? Of course. Again, Candace, let me reiterate. You don't have to do a reading at all. You did a panel last year. It was one of the most successful panels from the weekend. I heard a lot of good feedback on it. But if you want your work to be read and you just, for whatever reason, you don't want to do it, I would bring up J.F. Gonzalez. He used to have other people read his work for him because he had a stutter. There was an entrant in the gross out contest at the World Horror Convention one year who was so nervous to stand up in front of everybody, they had actor Bill Moseley read their work, and that went over great. So yeah, you can do that. You just need to let me know ahead of time. The person who you select to do the reading, obviously they have to be ticketed. They have to be a member of the event. But other than that, I'm happy to do it. You could even, I don't know why you'd want to, but you could have Tommy Clark read. Hey, Tommy, what's up, buddy? So, all right. Last call for questions. And Joe, do you have any more there in Facebook?
Yeah. Todd Kiesling wants to know what will next year's pen policy be.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
He said you'll have to wait and see. And folks, last call to click on the YouTube link if you have any questions about the vendor tables or any policies regarding that. I have 2 pets, but they're downstairs.
I'm at my ex-wife's house, so there's a dog and 3 cats.
Jeez. Not in the room. I have a dog and a cat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there are no other questions, just another reminder, and then we'll let Jake and Joe give you their final thoughts. But AuthorCon 3, April 12th through 14th next year. Vendor tables go on sale next Saturday, the 20th. At what time? 6 p.m. Eastern. They're going to be $250.
$250.
Thank you, Joe. That's what I was trying to say.
You may share a table. It is not required.
Right.
I had one more thing, but I forgot what it was.
I had one more thing too, but I'm in a NyQuil haze right now, so I can't think what it was. I look this good when I'm sick, so
Give me a minute here to think about it because it was important.
Okay. Thank you.
I know as soon as we log off, it's going to pop right in my head. Oh, if you do not get a table, Jake will establish a wait list for those people that wish to vend with us but couldn't get their table in time. So please don't worry. We will not be putting the promenade tables on sale just yet. We're reserving those for sponsorships. We have some things in the work for sponsorships, pretty big things in the works for sponsorships. So please don't fret if you can't get a table. Like I said, life happens. There'll be some people that drop. It always does. So Jake will be establishing a wait list if you can't get your table in time.
Right.
All right.
And that wait list I will put on the AuthorCon AuthorCon 3 page, a post saying wait list starts here. And I will keep you in order of who comments.
Right.
Like your order of comments, that's the order of the wait list. And I will post that at about probably 6:30 next Saturday night.
Yeah. Now, speaking of lightweights, Wrath James White just joined us on the Facebook Live thing. Click on the YouTube link, bring you over to the YouTube channel. Lucas Milliron is on there too. Hope you guys are well.
Now, as far as guests of honor, as far as programming, things like that, don't look for those announcements to start. Next Saturday, vendor tables go on sale. That's stage one. That's step one. We can't do anything until we sell those vendor tables.
Right.
I would suspect, as long as the board approves it, I will begin to announce our guests of honor for 2024 probably midsummer, probably right after StokerCon, because many of us will be attending StokerCon. No point announcing anything before that. As far as programming, I would not look for that until early next year, probably January of 2024. That's when we finally have a good idea of who's going to be there, who's not, and that's when we'll start putting programming together.
Yeah, and as far as everything else logistics wise goes, folks, I know the hotel is very, very excited to have us back. They love having us there. And a little bit later in the month, so it might be a little bit warmer. So bring your swimming trunks, stuff like that. You can jump in the pool. There's Brian with a cat. Cat doesn't.
My request, Bert.
Cat said, "Screw you, Brian Keene. I'm out of here."
Yep.
All right. Any other questions, folks? Any questions at all?
I think we ended on "Screw you, Brian Keene. I'm out here."
I think we ended on that. We did.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for your attention,
Yep.
for showing up, and Jake and Joe, thank you. And Joe, thanks for manning the fort over there on Facebook.
Hey, I'm here. Oh, wait. Lucas said the only feedback is better signage.
No.
Well, Lucas must have joined late. Lucas, we're not going to have vendors in those areas next year. Everybody's going to be in the main room.
Yeah, so let me, because he's probably not on. So for those people on the Facebook Live, we are not using the first and second floor of the conference area. Everybody who buys a table is going to be in that main ballroom. The only exception to that is if there's sponsors and things like that, they'll be out in the promenade, but all the authors will be in the same location in that main ballroom. So the signs that you'll see will just be for the film festival. HWA is going to be doing something on the first floor over there. So we'll have signs directing you there and things like that. I will hang out a little bit after we're done here on the Facebook Live, just in case anybody pops up with any other questions. But I think we're pretty good at this point.
Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Next Saturday, folks, 6 p.m. Be ready. Start your
35 minutes. It'll sell out.
No.
Yeah, I'm with Jake on this.
Nah.
Within an hour.
They've got to fill out the forms.
Oh,
they got to fill out those blocks.
Within an hour.
I'm saying an hour.
All right.
All right.
All right. We'll see you, folks.
All right, folks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.